Hi. George Washington Carver was one of the most respected black scientists of the early 20th century. George was born into slavery to Mary and Giles in the early 1860s. His actual birth date is unknown. Moses Carver had bought Mary and Giles in 1855 and lived in what is now called Diamond Newton County, Missouri. Giles died before George was born. A week later, baby George, his sister, and mother were kidnapped by night raiders. The kidnappers sold the family, and Moses hired John Bentley to find and retrieve them. John Bentley only found the baby, and Moses and his wife raised George and his older brother as their own. Susan taught George the basics of reading and writing, and he was encouraged to pursue more education. He attended a public school quite far from his home and rented a room from Mariah Watkins, who told him, "You must learn all you can, then go back out into the world and give your learning back to the people," which he never forgot. He discovered botany, and his caretaker taught him about herbal medicine, natural pesticides, and natural fertilizers. At 13, he attended several schools before graduating at the Minneapolis High School. He applied and was accepted at Highland University in Highland, Kansas, but they didn't let him study because of his race. In 1888, Carver received a $300 loan for education, and he studied art and piano at the Simpson College in Indianola, Iowa. His art teacher noted his drawing of plants were exceptional and thought he should study botany at the Iowa State Agricultural College. He was the very first black student at school, and after getting his bachelor's, his professors encouraged him to receive his Master's of Science, which he succeeded to do in 1896. He was the first African-American faculty member at Iowa State. In 1896, Booker T. Washington, president of the Tuskegee Institute, recruited Carver to head its agriculture department, and he taught there for 47 years. During these years, he developed techniques to improve depleted soils from continual plantings of cotton. Carver utilized organic fertilizers, which were sustainable to the planet and cheaper. Carver discovered permaculture, which utilized carbon from the atmosphere, producing flourishing crops despite global warming. He taught farmers to crop rotation and encouraged them to plant sweet potatoes, legumes, peanuts, soybeans, cowpeas, which restored the nitrogen to the soil. This gave some poor farmers alternative products and different ways to make money. He recorded his information in agricultural bulletins, and his work was being noticed by other farmers. In 1920, the peanut farmers were being undercut by imported peanuts from China and wanted a tariff placed, and asked Carver to plead their case at the congressional hearings. It was rare for an African American to appear because of segregation, and at the beginning he was mocked by the Southern congressmen. But as he continued to teach, they extended his time, and by the end of his testimony, they were in agreement. The Fordney-Macomber Tariff was enacted in 1922, and George Washington Carver became a celebrity. He toured from 1923 to 1933 and spoke about peanuts, sweet potatoes, and racial harmony. He met with 3 presidents, and the Crown Prince of Sweden studied with him for 3 weeks. In 1938, he created a museum of all of his work and a foundation to continue agricultural research. He donated nearly all of his savings, $60,000, to create the foundation. One day, he fell down a flight of stairs and was found by his maid and taken to the hospital. He died January 5, 1943, at the age of 78 or 79, and on his grave it states, "He could have added fortune to fame, but caring for neither, found happiness and honor in being helpful to the world." And I'll just leave that right there.